Today I'm going to talk to you about the history of the Bengals. The Bengals are an NFL team that was created in 1937. The Bengals received their name because of Paul Brown. Now, Paul Brown is a former coach who coached the Cleveland Browns, and the stadium is actually named after him today, the one they play in right now. Well, anyway, he started the team and he coached them all the way up until 1941, until World War II, when everything had to stop and the franchise just kind of folded together because of the war and nothing could really happen. Now, the Bengals have played in, I think, 3 stadiums overall. The first 2 seasons were played in Nippert Stadium, located at the University of Cincinnati, which is one of the oldest stadiums still being used today. Then in 1970, they moved over to Synergy Field, also home of the Cincinnati Reds, one of the many dual sports facilities in the country. They played there until 1999. They held the Freezer Bowl, where the Bengals defeated San Diego 27-7 in the AFC Championship. Paul Brown Stadium opened in 2000, so it hasn't been around for as long as the other stadiums, and the seating capacity is 65,615, and has received national recognition for its sleek design and ability to view the downtown area from the stadium. Now, the team came back together around 1970, and the 1970s wasn't very hot for the Bengals. 72 and 76 record combined over the entire 10 years for the decade. And the farthest they made it were the divisional playoffs, where we lost every single time, but it didn't stop them. Once they got to the 80s, this is the one that strikes deep in everyone's heart. This is called the decade of missed opportunities. Going 0-2 in both Super Bowls that they went to. The teams in 81 and 88 both made deep runs into the playoffs, but they were unable to finish when they both made it to the Super Bowl. Both times they lost to the 49ers, which is still a very sensitive subject for all of us, as I said. And Ken Anderson and Boomer Esiason were both elected MVP in this decade. Ken Anderson's one of the best quarterbacks to ever come through, Bengals statistically wise. So now the 1990s is a very unsuccessful decade filled with lots of loss and rebuilding. Not very much happened throughout the 1990s. The only activity we had was in the season of 91, where the Bengals lost in the divisional playoffs to the Raiders. But we also had Anthony Munoz, who was considered the best offensive lineman in National Football history. He could do it all. He played every position on the line, and he's really the only thing that kind of stands out from the 1990s all throughout the 2000s for the Bengals. Now, in 2010, not much to pride ourselves on this decade as well. We are the best football team in the nation, but right now we're just rebuilding, and as you can see, it's clearly working. Marvin Lewis won Coach of the Year in 2009 and has showed much potential recently, as I could say. And from 2010 to present, there's a lot of untapped potential in these last few Bengals teams. Unable to win a playoff game and finish, but finishing with very good records in the NFL is a very hard thing for a fan to go through. Finishing in the top 3 of the AFC North every year has shown promise. And this year, 2015, the Bengals are currently 9-2 and have the ability to make it to playoffs and then on to the Super Bowl. Andy Dalton, AJ Green, Jeremy Hill, and a strong offensive line have given the Bengals strength on the offensive side of the ball. Their defense, however, is what keeps the team together. With a penetrative defensive line that is leading the NFL in sacks, is helping the secondary out a lot. I see a lot of potential in these teams, and I hope you all learned a lot from this as well.